Hello, my dear friends. I cannot believe I am meeting you here in my bedroom with my sweats on. This is a plus of this, right? We can all do work and school in our sweats. Um, I just first want to start by saying that I pray you are well and you are safe and you are healthy. Never imagined in a million years that when I said goodbye to you before spring break that I would not be seeing you again this semester. Um, I have experienced a whole range of emotions. I imagine you have and are too, especially as many or most of you are moving out of your dorm this week. I can only imagine the grieving process that has gone on for you, and I am so sorry. This is not how any of us imagined that it would ever go. We have this little sheet on our fridge that we got recently from a therapist, and I'll share it here at some point. But it basically has all these different smiley faces, probably 30 of them at least, and under each of them it says the different emotion of the smiley face. And so we've started this new thing in our family where each day we pick our smiley faces. They're not all smiley, obviously, of how we're feeling. And it's been such a simple but a good way to check in and to name what we're feeling. And each day I have felt different. I felt anxiety, I felt sadness, disappointment, grief, um, anger, cautious, so many things. So I'm here with you in all of that. And yes, as you can imagine, I have the added stress of homeschooling my three children, which has been an adventure already. Thankfully, my husband Brandon is also a teacher here, and so we are able to just trade off our working hours and make it work. So I'm doing a video announcement because I have two goals for the rest of the semester. The first, as you can imagine, is that we can still cover our content appropriately and that we can still have quality learning. But the second and more important thing to me is that we remain connected and engaged as a community in this course. And so I will continue to post video announcements. What I'm going to do also today is I'm going to create just a really brief Google Form survey. I'm going to send it to you, and I just ask that you fill that out so that I can assess your needs or any barriers to your online learning. And then also if you have any ideas for ways to stay connected to each other. But I'm going to do my very best to do that in an online platform. I do have experience teaching online. I'm not a pro, but this is also not completely new to me. So I'm going to do my best to make this work, but I accept feedback at any point. And also if there's just, if you just want to check in individually, I am so happy to do that with you, whether by email or Google Hangouts is the way I'll be doing my advising this semester. So if you want to jump in and do that with me, let me know. Happy to chat. I am here. I'm not going anywhere. So what I want to do is kind of walk you through my plan for the rest of the semester. Thankfully, we don't have a whole lot of content left to cover, so I think it's going to be pretty simple. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you so that you can see how I'm reworking Canvas. So here's our Canvas course. I'm just going to scroll down. So we did take this week off, so I just have no class. And I just bumped everything. Actually, most things didn't even get bumped. We just canceled the Tuesdays with Maury, the movie that we were supposed to watch this week, so that got canceled. Next week is when we are supposed to meet with our professionals to do interviews, and I am so bummed that that's not going to happen. I told you I had some great professionals who are going to meet with us. However, I emailed them today and I asked if any of them would be willing to do a virtual interviews, that they let me know, and then I'll pass their information on to you. We'll see, because I know they're incredibly stressed out either with work or homeschooling as well. But I'll click here. I have a new set of guidance. So you're still doing the assignment. You're no longer doing group interviews. You're doing them on your own. You choose your own professional right here to interview, face-to-face or virtually. Most of you will probably be doing this virtually unless the person is in your household or someone that you are very close to. And it doesn't have to be someone in healthcare. It can be anyone who is a working professional. And you want to ask them about how they've dealt with crises and how they've developed resilience. Plan to spend about 20 to 30 minutes with this person. Make sure that you look at the rubric in the updated syllabus, which I did repost in Canvas so that it can help you form questions. And then last year, my students actually started this Google Doc, I linked it here, that has questions that they kind of threw around to answer or to ask. And you can add more to that list, and I'll just keep it going every year. So spread the love, but that is just to get you some ideas for that. And then the new assignment following the interview is only changed in the sense that instead of writing a group paper, you're writing an individual paper. Assignment guidelines are here. And then after your formal paper about the interview where you address the different points of the rubric, you will then write an informal, kind of like a reflective journal about what you learned from that experience. And there are also specific things that you do need to cover in that journal: courage, humility, and there's two more. I think they're leading and following faithfully. But check the rubric on that so that you're following everything that you need to follow. So that's the professional interview piece. You have a few weeks to get that paper done, but I would suggest next week figuring out who you're going to interview and kind of getting that ball rolling. One thing that I will just encourage you with, as you are probably not used to online learning, is the best thing that you can do is to set up a schedule for yourself. As professors, we have been encouraged to continue the same kind of schedule, like with assignment due dates, and if we're doing synchronous classes, to keep those at the same date and time of our normal class, to just make sure we're not crossing over each other's schedules, and also just to keep consistency for you. So I have kept things that are due on Mondays. We do not have any, well, I take that back. We have 2 synchronous classes, meaning meeting at the same time as our normal class, Monday at 3:30. And one is when we do our med math and terminology exam. I'll give more details later, but we will be using a software program called Honor Lock that basically locks your screen while you're taking the exam so that you can't, open other browsers, etc. And then when we do our ATITs, you will be doing that from home, but we will all be doing it together as I proctor that from a distance. So make sure that those dates you are available at 3:30, but otherwise we are not meeting synchronously. And so what I have done to continue engagement is I've turned the rest of our reflections into discussion boards. And so what you will do is so for example, this first one is our self-care discussion board. Now I know that many of you already submitted a reflection with that prompt. And what I would just ask you to do is you can cut and paste that and then resubmit that into this discussion board so that everybody else can read. If you want to tweak it, that's fine too. But this is the way for us to stay engaged and sharing with each other. So everybody's going to share about how they practice self-care, which is more necessary than ever right now, right? As we sit through this unprecedented crisis. And then my request with each of these discussion boards, this is kind of the way that you're showing attendance and participation in class, is that you respond to at least 2 of your peers by Friday of that week. So discussion boards, when they are there, we don't have them every week, but when they're there, they're due Monday at midnight. The response to 2 peers would be by Friday of that week at midnight. And everything is due at midnight unless it is a synchronous thing like our tests. Let me see if there's anything else I wanted to go over in detail. So as far as my plan goes, I'm going to stop sharing my screen because I don't need to share it anymore. So my plan for the rest of the semester is that on Fridays, I will send you most likely a video announcement, kind of just sharing with you how I'm doing and what the plan is for the next week to keep you on track. And then I will, just kind of keep the ball rolling with the due dates as they are currently in Canvas. I updated our calendar, if that's helpful for you, and reposted that at the top of Canvas as well, so you can see the due dates and the topics there as well. I'm just looking at my checklist because I wrote all these notes. What are the things I want to talk about? I am happy to have like virtual office hours if that would be helpful to you. So I'll ask you about that in the Google survey, but if you don't need them, that's fine. Then I won't offer them. We'll just kind of see how that goes. Your creative project, still be thinking about what you are going to create for that. And then what you'll be doing instead is you'll be submitting a video of yourself presenting it just as you would in class, and then you'll post that to a discussion board to your group. So that will be just a group discussion board between the 3 members of your group, and then you need to offer feedback to them following the rubric as well. And again, every Friday I'm going to record an announcement, go over details of what's coming. But just have this on your radar that you are supposed to be creating something that you can connect to the values of nursing that we've talked about in this class. And that's all stipulated in the creative project rubric, which is in your syllabus and also in Canvas under that assignment. Um, Okay, I think that's all I wanted to say for now. Please check in with me if you have any prayer requests or just if you want to share the status of how you're doing and where you're going. I'd love to hear from you. I realized the other day that I will not get to be doing my favorite part of my job, which is teaching my students for 6 months. And that makes me want to cry. I absolutely love being with you, and I'll miss you greatly. So feel free to connect with me in any way. I'm here for you. Take care, and I will be back shortly.